وأما الجدار فكان لغلامين يتيمين في المدينة وكان تحته كنز لهما وكان أبوهما صالحا فأراد ربك أن يبلغا أشدهما ويستخرجا كنزهما رحمة من ربك وما فعلته عن أمري ذلك تأويل ما لم تقدر عليه صدق الله العظيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Al-Mal wal-Banuna zinatul hayat dunya. Wealth and awlad, children, they are zinatul hayat dunya. They are the zinat of this life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to give someone wealth, and Allah ta'ala gives someone children to spend that wealth on. That is the beauty of life. Now, as beautiful as the thing it is, my dear brothers and sisters, to have children, it is an even greater zimmedari and responsibility Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed on our children. Last week, but prior to last week, we had spoken, or we had delved into the topic as to how this Tahir Deen of Islam made its way down to us, and what is our role and responsibility as parents as passing this Deen on to the next generation. This was our topic. Today, inshallah, we will be going into some steps each of us can be taken to ensure that we absolve this responsibility Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed upon our children. We are living in times of fitan. There's no doubt about the times in which we are living in. This is a time of fitan. An unprecedented time. A time of trials, of tribulations. Rasulullah said, such a time will come in my ummah where there will be fitan kaqita'il layl al-mudlan. There will be fitan that will leave a person bewildered like they are in the darkness of the night. Listen to what the Prophet said. He was very specific in the wording he chose. He said, such fitan will come, it will leave a person bewildered like they are in the darkness of the night. The night is already dark. But to further expound on it, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, it will leave you bewildered like you are in the darkness of a dark night. Imagine you are on a road. Imagine you're on a road outside. There is thick trees and tree branches above you. There are such thick clouds in the sky that you cannot see the moonlight. You cannot see the stars. There is no street lamps. There is no cars. There is no headlights. There is no flashlight. There is no light. It is completely pitch black dark. And there are places like this where you'll go and it is this dark. When it's so extremely dark and you have no source of light, you will be confused. Do I keep going straight? Do I go right? Should I take a U-turn? What should I do? You would be, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, such times will come, when that zamana will come, يُصْبِحُ الْحَلِيمُ حَيْرَانًا. Even an intellectual, wise person, it will leave that person hayran, dumbfounded, shocked. How do I act? What do I do? Where do I move? How do I raise my kids? How do I protect my kids? What do I do? The Prophet said, يُصْبِحُ الْحَلِيمُ حَيْرَانًا. The wisest of people will become hayran. We are living in times where this isn't news to any of us. We know this. The types of things they're trying to indoctrinate and brainwash the next generation with. Some of which, for example, boys transitioning to girls, girls transitioning to boys, men turning to women, women turning into men, taking the traditional roles, the fabric of society that society is made with, the roles that have always been fulfilled by men, it is now being made to believe that women should take those roles. And the traditional roles of women, it is now being made to believe that if anyone is to take them, it should be the man. Matlab, everything is trying to be made to turn upside down. This is just a little bit of what is happening. In these times, in such weird, unprecedented, almost confusing type of times. Not for us, but for the next generation, these are confusing times. What can we be doing to ensure that we can pass this deen on to them, and hopefully they can become beacons of light in this time also. So the first thing is, my dear brothers and sisters, with the limited time that I do have, this is a topic that I can go on for weeks without exaggeration. This is a topic that deserves weeks upon weeks to really get into. So with the limited time that we have now, let's take some steps, inshallah. Each of us can act upon it. And if we do, inshallah, we'll see the fa'idah and benefit in our lives and the lives of our families also. Look, my dear sisters, you know the first few years of a child's life, up till the child is about 5, 6 years old, the few beginning years, these beginning years are extremely crucial. Extremely crucial for the child's development and well-being, for her mental health, on so many levels. What is beginning to happen now, and it has been happening for quite some years, but it's ramping up now, and we see this, is that the man goes out and he works, because this is his responsibility. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made the obligation of earning and bringing what home on the father. So it's his responsibility. What we're seeing a lot happening now is the mothers are also getting up and leaving. Now, if there's a zurura, listen carefully to what I'm saying. If there's a zurura, if there's a need, circumstances arise, whatever it may be, if there's a zurura, so be it, fine. But what we're seeing happening now is there is no zurura. There's absolutely no need. But the woman is leaving simply because she doesn't want to be left behind by her friends. Or simply because she doesn't want to be seen by society a certain type of way if she stays home. Whatever it may be. Now the father is leaving, the mother is leaving. They're both draining their energy outside the house. Now who's raising that 3-year-old, that 2-year-old? The babysitter, the daycare, the nanny, the cell phone, the iPhone, the iPad. Matlab, you, as a father, as a mother, I myself, and before I begin with all of these, let me remind you, these are all reminders to myself, first and foremost, before anyone else here. Do we really think it is a wise decision to leave your child at the mercy of these things or these people who really don't care about your child? They honestly do not. As long as your child gets to eat food, that's enough. They're not there to nurture your child, to do tarbiyat of your child, to raise your child, to instill within them good attributes and sifat and qualities and so on and so forth. Now, this isn't a bayan on teaching you to micromanage or to tell you what you should and you should not do in your specific household. Lekin, before I move on to the next one, I would urge every one of us, as parents, we are adults. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us children. For the mothers, and each of us should just take one step back. Either now or when you go home. Take one step back, sit down with your spouse, and really just ask yourself, what am I working towards? What do I want from this life? Is it money? Or is that the end goal? Is it generational wealth? Enough money so my grandchildren don't have to ever work a day? Is it prestige in society? Is it raising the next generation? What is it we are working towards? And what is it at the expense of? But ask yourself this question. Where are we headed? How hard are we working towards that? And what is it at the expense of? Ask yourself this question. Inshallah, each of us can actually have a mature conversation at home. This actually might start solving some of the issues that are arising in today's day and age. The second thing is, my dear sisters, or the second thing each of us need to start doing, this might sound like a no-brainer, because each of us already do this, but it's something we need to be focusing more, and that is, each of us need to start making lots and lots and lots of dua for our children. Not just dua for your children. That's something each of us do. You ask any father here, any mother here, do you make dua for your child? They will say, what a silly question. Every time I raise my hands in dua, my children's name are in my mouth before my own. I make dua for them before I make dua for myself. Each of us would naturally give this answer. But we are living in times where just that little bit of dua isn't cutting it. We need to make lots and lots of dua. Just the way when we used to go to university, or when we used to be in school, or when we wanted to get married, we wanted to have children, maybe we were looking for a job, maybe we fell in debt. When we have some hajat from Allah, kya karte hain? We wake up in tahajjud. We wake up in tahajjud salat. We make lengthy du'as to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because we see the need at hand. We are living in unprecedented times. When you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you something, you don't just make dua a few times for a few seconds. You make lengthy du'as. When we look at the lives of the ulama of the past, this is one quality we find consistent in all of them. All of those ulama of the past, whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had blessed children to, who followed within their father's footsteps, their mother's footsteps, who became righteous, pious awliyaullah, their parents were always consistent in making lengthy du'as for them. One of the ulama, his name was Maulana Ahmad Ali Lahori rahmatullahi alayhi, Shaykh al-Tafsir. Maulana Ahmad Ali Lahori rahmatullahi alayhi was a great scholar, he was a great alim Rabbani. One day, someone asked him, "Ki mashallah, your children are so righteous and pious. They followed in your footsteps. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken so much work of this deen from you and your children. And so tell me, what is it that you've done to ensure that this was to happen?" So he listed a few things. One of the things he said, "I don't ever remember praying any salah, except that before salam, when we said the dua, he said, I don't ever remember praying any salah, except that before taslim, I always made this one dua, رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ. Oh Allah, make my children and my progeny, my spouse, the coolness of my eyes." He said, how else will your children become the coolness of your eyes unless they're righteous? He said it was this one thing I never forgot. Ever since the day Allah Ta'ala gave me children, I never stopped making this dua. He said perhaps it is due to this. Each of us need to make more dua for your child. If you think you already make a lot of dua, double that, triple that. Make lots and lots of dua for your child. Inshallah, you will see the benefits of it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, one of those du'as Allah does not reject is du'a'ul walidi li waladi, the dua of a parent for their child. When a father or mother raises their hand in dua, whatever it is you are making dua for, there is no hijab, no curtain, no veil between that dua and the acceptance by Allah. So make lots and lots of dua, inshallah you will see the benefits of it. The next thing is, my dear brothers and sisters, as we should be, we focus on teaching our children the outward aspect of ibadah. As we should be. For example, your child is getting older, you teach them to pray salah, how to go for ruku', how to go to sujood, what du'as they should be reciting, Surah Al-Fatiha, how to fast in the month of Ramadan. You start with quarter fast, half day fast. We teach them the outward aspect of ibadah, as we should be. Lekin remember, every ibadah has two aspects to it. There is the zahir, the outward motion. Masalan, when we pray salah, there is the outward motion that a person can visibly see. And then there is the ruh of that ibadah. There is the soul of that ibadah. Matlab, one is to teach the child how to pray salah. And then one is, why are you praying salah? For whom are you praying salah? What will you get out of praying salah? What will salah do for you? The importance of praying salah. This essence is often neglected. We often focus too much on the outward, forgetting to instill within them the ruh of that ibadah. What is it that they will be getting from that? When we look at the life of the Prophet ﷺ, we find that the surah of the Quran are divided into two. There are the Makki surah and the Madani surah. Those surahs that were revealed in Makkah, those surahs that were revealed in Medina. Whenever you open the Quran and you read the ayat, for example, of paradise, the beauty of paradise, hellfire, and the different punishments in hellfire, the day of judgment, and accountability on the day of judgment, the stories of the prophets, the qudra of Allah, the blessings of Allah, etc. These types of ayat, the bulk of them were revealed in Makkah. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was first teaching the Sahaba who is Allah. Why? Before they pray salah, to whom is it you are praying salah? Why is it you are praying salah? What will salah do for you? Once their foundation was built, when the Sahaba migrated to Medina, their foundation was built. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed ayat al-ahkam, the ayat al-sharaya, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you can do, what you cannot do, what is halal, what is haram, etc., etc., etc. This type of tarbiyah that Allah and the Prophet gave to the Sahaba, which is why they became who they became, is what we should be doing with our children. While focusing on the outward aspects of ibadah, sit down, spend some time with them, have your children sit with the ulama, have your children come and sit with the scholars, have them speak to the ulama, have them ask questions, have them spend time. Like this, before they learn the outward aspect, let them learn to whom they are doing this for. Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi, he says when I was small, 6, 7 years old, he said my mother, she would put an imama on my head. And she would send me to the Masjid al-Nabawi. And she would say, oh Malik, go to the masjid. At such a young age, she would say, go to the masjid. And go and sit with the ulama there. وَتَعَلَّمْ مِنْ أَسِمْتِهِمْ وَأَدَبْ. Go learn from their adab, their akhlaq. Go learn their etiquette. Go learn the essence of this deen before you begin to learn the actual rulings of this deen. If we instill within our children why they are doing what they should be doing. There was one of the ulama of the class, there was when he was a child, his name was Tariq. Tariq, when he was a true incident, this was a young boy, he would come home from school and after coming home, he had a habit of this, which is, he would come home, he would pray salah, and then he would make dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Farid really liked this sweet type of bread he would eat. He loved this sweet type of bread. So he would make dua for Allah every day after school, Ya Allah, please give me this sweet bread. And then, after putting his hands down, he would lift the musalla, the janamaz, he would lift the mat, and he would find the sweet bread there. And what the mother would do was, before Farid would come home, she would bake that sweet bread, put it under the musalla, and then she would say to Farid, go pray for Rak'at Salah, make dua for Allah for that sweet bread. You'll find that sweet bread under there for you. Farid would pray salah, make dua, and lo and behold, he would find that sweet bread there. Obviously not knowing his mother put it there. Now why was the mother doing this? To instill within that child what salah can do for him. To instill within that child the ta'alluq that will be created between him and Allah. When he prays salah, when he makes dua, he will find what he asks for after salah. She did this to instill that type of upbringing in that child. One day, that mother was out running some errands, and all of a sudden she stopped and she realized that today she forgot to break that sweet bread and put it under the musalla. And she knew it's too late to go home and do it now. Any minute Farid will be coming home. And he's going to pray salah, and he's going to make dua for that sweet bread. But when he lifts that musalla, he may not find that sweet bread because she's thinking, I didn't put it there today. So she stopped everything she was doing outside. She went and she prayed through Rak'at Salah. And she raised her hand in dua and said, Ya Allah, all of this time, I was doing this, baking that sweet bread, putting it under that musalla, so that my child could develop a relationship with you. So they could know the power of salah. But Ya Allah, today I forgot to bake that sweet bread and put it under that janama, that musalla for them. And Farid is going to come home, pray salah, make dua, and Ya Allah, he's going to lift that janama and look for that bread. Ya Allah, all this time I have been doing this to develop his ta'alluq with you. Oh Allah, do not break his hope in you today. Do not let his hopes in you go to waste. Do not break that relationship my boy has with you. And she said, Amin. Sometime later, when she returned home in the evening, And you can imagine what she's going through and thinking. As soon as she comes home, she sees Tariq playing. And naturally her first question is, Tariq, tell me what happened today. And Tariq says to her, why do you look so shocked and panicked? It was as it is every day. I came home, I prayed salah, I made dua, I lifted that man, that sweet bread was there. And I ate it. We read in the Quran again and again, إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. We read this. Allah عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ فَعَالٌ لِمَا يُرِيدُ يَفْعَلُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيَخْتَارُ يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيَخْتَارُ. Allah is عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Allah Ta'ala is capable, supremely able and capable of everything and anything. Why does Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala remind us this again and again? This is something that needs to be instilled. This isn't something you just read and you learn it. It's something that needs to be instilled. That child that grew up with such type of tarbiyah and upbringing, what type of child do you think he grew up to be? He grew up to be one of the ulama of his time. Fariduddin Mas'ud rahmatullahi alayhi. Instill within your child not just the outward motion, my dear brothers and sisters, but also the ruh of that ibadah. Have your children come and sit with us so they can learn. We can teach them. Don't bring them when they're 18, 19, running off with a new boyfriend or girlfriend, then say, Mufti Sahib, please. So the hard to do. Bring them when they're young. So we can do something. Hidayat is in the hands of Allah. Lekin asbab, taking asbab, they are in our hands. Taking asbab, they are within our hands. Bring them to the ulama, bring them to the sulaha, take them to those who are righteous and pious, those who are scholars, the way we do for anything else. When your child becomes sick, you don't wait till they have such an extremely high fever, and now they're going to be on bed rest for weeks, and then you take them to the doctor. As soon as you see somewhat happening, maybe their temperature goes, you start taking action right away. You say, okay, now it's time. An ounce of prevention is better than we know this. So do the same when it comes to the matters of this deen. The next thing is, my dear brothers and sisters, each of us as parents need to remember, we have to learn to be a good role model for our children. If I tell my child, who say, don't lie, and he sees me lying. If I tell my child, better read Quran, he never sees me reading Quran. I say to my child, better make sure you pray your namaz. He never sees me praying namaz. I say to my child, better make sure when you get married, you're very good to your wife. I'm always yelling and screaming at my wife. He is not going to remember what I told him. He is going to do exactly what he saw me. What I can tell him a million things. Don't ever lie. Don't cheat. Don't deceive others. He is going to do what he saw me do. Not what I told him to. They say once there was a group who were out in Jama'at. So the brothers, they went to someone's house, and the brothers, they knock on the person's door. The father opens the door, the brother, they say, please, come to the masjid, there will be a talk after. So the Jama'at went to someone's house, they knocked on the door as they usually do. After some time, no one opens the door, they knocked again. A young boy comes up. They said to the young boy, is your father home? We would like to speak to him. So the child, he says, my father told me to tell you he's not home. My dad told me to tell you he's not home. So the brothers had a little laugh and they laughed. Now that child, Muslim, that child is innocent. But when that child grows up, he's not going to remember how many times his dad said to him, Beta, lying will do this for you, lying will do that for you. He's going to remember what practically happened, what really happened. Be a good role model for your children. Lying, for example, is for cowards. People who are done, people who have no done, people who can't face the truth. Those are people who lie. Those are people who lie, who can't tell the truth, who can't face the truth. Teach your children to be courageous, to be truthful, to be honest, upright, and be that example for them. if you can show your children within you that you are a good role model, you'll see that same within your child. If you're reading Quran and you want your child to grow up reciting Quran, you know what you have to do? It must be such that when your child closes the Quran and he gets up to walk away, he sees you as the father or mother still sitting there reading Quran. Then they're going to grow up actually being accustomed to reading. Not that every time you sit down to read, you are the first one to get up and read. If you are that good role model, you will see the same within them also. My time is limited, so I'll conclude here, inshallah, with the last one. My dear brothers and sisters, all of us as parents, as walidain, naturally, we are concerned for our child's future. It's not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put it within each of us. We want to give our children opportunities perhaps we didn't have. We want to give them things maybe when growing up we didn't have. So on. As concerned as we are for their financial well-being, if you ask the parent, why are you working so hard? What is the answer they'll give you? The child asks the dad, the mom, why are you always busy? Why are you working so hard? What do the parents say? What do we say to our children? Bird is for you. All of this work I'm putting in is for you. Everything you see is for you. My savings is for you. My properties is for you. My hard work is for you. My sweat, everything is for you. So you have a better life. Allah Ta'ala is not a Razaq. Did Allah Ta'ala say that you have to make sure you do everything in your capabilities? Whether that means neglecting your children, neglecting your family, neglecting your salah, neglecting everything. Make sure you take care of your child, because if you don't do any of these, I'm not going to sustain. Allah Ta'ala said this. Allah Ta'ala says the opposite. We have to ask ourselves, what are we sacrificing? At the expense of what? If you want to ensure your child, but not just your child, your generations have a good future. There is nothing that will secure their future more than your own righteousness and piety. And remember, righteousness and piety, righteousness doesn't mean you pray Bajama Tamas, so you're a very pious person. That is one aspect of it. There's huquq Allah and huquq al-ibad. There's the rights of Allah and the rights of the servants of Allah. You can be reciting lots of Quran. You can be praying lots of salah. You can be waking up every night to tahajjud, making late du'as. Listen, if you're not fulfilling huquq al-ibad, the rights of your children, the rights of your parents, the rights of your spouse, the rights of your sibling, the rights of your neighbor, the rights of those around you, and the list goes on. My dear sister, salih, righteousness, or a righteous person is someone who fulfills both. A person prays salah on time. Lekin their akhlaq is that. Their moral is that. When they speak to other people, they have a very meaty zuban, very sweet tongue, a very sweet way of talking. Lekin when they enter their house and they talk to their wife and kids, they're yelling and cussing and cursing and swearing and degrading and demeaning. Remember, your true akhlaq is measured not by the people outside, it's by the people that are behind closed doors. When you let your guard down, and no one is there, besides you and your spouse, and your spouse has been with you for 50 years and she's always going to have to be there, you don't really have to worry about your izzah. If you can really have good character then, when no one is watching, that's what akhlaq. Matalan, I'm just putting myself in the hot seat here. If I happen to be speaking kindly to all of you, and all of you say Mufti Sahib has wonderful akhlaq, because when I go behind closed doors and no one is there, no camera is there, no recorder is there, only me and my wife are there. And I happen to be yelling and screaming and cursing at my wife. So my dear sisters, what everyone else does outside or how everyone else looks at me doesn't matter. It matters with absolutely no regard. Remember that you are truly righteous when you fulfill huquq Allah and huquq al-ibad. If you are pious, righteous, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will safeguard not just you, not just your children, your nasal, your progeny to come. Let's conclude here, inshallah. In Surah Al-Ghaf, one of the incidents that is mentioned, just briefly going through it. Prophet Musa, Khidr alayhi salatu wasalam, were both traveling on a boat. And these two prophets of Allah, they get on this boat, they cross the city, they get off, and now when they're walking on land, Khidr alayhi salatu wasalam, he sees a wall that's about to fall. So what does Khidr alayhi salam do? He goes to this wall, he straightens it. And at the end of the story, Prophet Musa says, Khidr, why did you straighten that wall? For which reason? Why did you go all the way across the city in this boat to straighten a wall that was about to fall? Khidr alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, فَكَانَ لِغُلَامَيْنِ يَتِيمَيْنِ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ. This wall belonged to two orphans. And there was a treasure that was left beneath that wall. And had I not straightened that wall, and if I allowed it to fall, the people of the city would have taken that treasure that belonged to these two boys. Now, basically, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent two prophets from across the city on a boat to go and straighten the wall to protect the financial well-being of two orphans. Why all of this protocol? Why all of this protocol? Why did Allah ta'ala do this whole intizam of sending two prophets to secure two boys' treasure? Allah ta'ala explains. He says, وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. Because their parents were righteous. Their parents were righteous and they died when these kids were young. Because their parents were righteous, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was still looking after their kids years later. Fakhruddin Razi rahmatullah alayhi, he writes in this ayah that when Allah ta'ala says وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا, that their parents were righteous, Fakhruddin Razi writes rahmatullah alayhi, that one meaning of this ayah here is that 7 generations above, which means these two orphans, not their father, their great-great-great-great-grandfather was righteous. Due to his righteousness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was still looking after his children 7 generations later. We're so concerned for our children, as we should be. My dear and sisters, nothing will secure your children's future better than your own piety and righteousness, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects of us. I've gone over time, so we'll conclude it here inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to act upon this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to act upon these steps and make our children beacons of light in this time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our children and protect our progeny to come to the day of Qiyamah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah wa bihamdihi. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.